All right, you're probably wondering why you're so far away from your artwork, Miss Kay. That's what I want you to do. I want you to give yourself, after, let's say you've watched the video and you made your sketch of your pencil drawing and followed the video, or maybe you're just making your own. Take a step back, put it farther away from you, and just like sit back and take a look at it. And sometimes I squint too, and I just look and I'm like, all right, did I do everything I was supposed to do? So let's do a little check off sheet, and hopefully I can make you one too, but let's just verbally go over it. So is your sunshine the lightest thing on your picture? And if it's not, you'll know you need to take the eraser and be erasing over those sun rays because they should be bright. All right, same with your sun. And mine looks like it muddied up a little bit, so I'll go over that. Also, with atmospheric perspective, the bottom needs to have more dark and crisp things like sharp edges, like really detailed. And so I see the little something, something, I think it's a rock down in the bottom, but I don't see anything else. It's just one little rock. So I know usually in artwork, you got to balance it out. So I'm going to add another little rock right beside it. And you don't want them to be the same exact thing. Also, I've seemed to have lost the darkness of my vine. And so I want to add some more dark into that. I'm looking at it and I see that the little land that's over here is got a lot of dark, all right? And so I feel like I need to, I don't know, maybe just build up some of that place underneath the vine. And then, so we want to make sure we have all the values. So do we have white? Look at it. Yes, check. Do we have light gray? And that'll probably be in your sky. Do we have medium gray? And so that's pretty much like the mountain in the background, that kind of shade. Yeah, we got that. Do we have like medium to dark gray? Yeah, the river or the path is sort of a shade darker. And then do we even have it darker yet? And you can really see on at least mine, I see this line that is this dark line going through the picture, and that's good. You want your eye to follow something. And so I come up, and then this line comes back down, and then this little land mass makes me jump over, and then I just sort of follow it along again. And so as long as you're looking at the principles, you're like, all right, is it balanced? Yeah, it looks pretty balanced. If it's not balanced, you might need to add something. Maybe I say to myself, well, I put the vine on the right side, I need to put a vine on the left side. But I see I really don't want to do that because I have that river, and I want to make sure nothing is blocking us from getting on that path to start our journey into that artwork. Okay, so you sort of think like that. So clear at the bottom, crisp. Medium detail in the middle of your paper, hardly any detail in the background. So let's go ahead and let's pick it up and let's get started. So first thing, take your eraser, make sure that it is cleaned off, all right, and just go over it. Now I'm doing this first. I'll probably have to do it again. All right, and just go over the lines. Make sure it's all cleaned up. Okay. And then just try to keep your clean finger to rub that eraser that sometimes might not want to come off, just like that. All right, there, that worked. All right. Next step, you want to make sure that let's just add a little more shade at the top. Okay. and make it a little thicker on the edges. And then take Mr. Dirty Finger and smudge. Don't give yourself a paper cut though. All right. And then just come along those mountains on each side. And that should be good. All right. All right. So nice and soft. Again, when I looked from far, like I feel like I need to make these darker, but I know we want it to be pretty boring. Okay, maybe you could just, if you're not happy and you're like it needs something more there at the top, just go along that top edge and add a little more texture to it. You could also use your eraser and see if you like. But again, it's not supposed to be that detailed really, so I'm just going to smudge it back up. And sometimes that works too. All right, so the next step is I'm going to look at these dark spots and make sure they go right to the sun ray. I don't know what's going on right here, so I'm just going to push down really hard, and there, that worked. And then we are at, maybe you could just follow these if you think, it looks like an ice cream sundae, Miss Kay. It looks like it needs more. All right, so maybe you can just add some lines. Just don't go over the sun rays. Now, if you do it on the right, make sure you do whatever you just did on the left. And so what are you doing, Miss Kay? Well, I'm just making these curvy lines right next to it, but just not so dark. And stay away from the sun rays. And my pencil's like dying. You guys are probably like, good, Miss Kay, that means less to do for us. All right, so I'm just getting some more like rugged texture in my mountains. Oh, I went over it. All right. And if you want to make any more divots, you can make like these smiley emoji face lines that will give it the effect of some more little craters inside your mountain shape. Just darken some smiley curved line if you want. All right. And if you don't like it, just make sure they're not all the same length. Okay, and then again, friends, even though I said make your line literally from left to right, lots of you are just have a habit of going diagonal. So stand up and tell yourself left to right, 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 left to right. On the other side, left to right, or sorry, right to left. All right, and you can, if you like that, see how I went ahead. I don't know if I like that thick line there. In order for that thick line to be there, you probably should do the thick line up here. All right, and so now it creates that, maybe you'll do little rocks here. And you've got, maybe that's the reason these are existing, these lines. All right, and so again, at the bottom, make sure your name is there, make sure your grade, make sure everything is sharp looking down here. All right, I really like this line that I did here. It leads your eye in. All right, I am going to just go over my line. All right, and it can be that dark. We just want something that might be in the shadows. All right. Just whatever you do, if it smears, make sure that you just try to stay away from it so it doesn't smear. All right. And then if you're like, wow, that's not balanced, Miss K. All right, then maybe we'll just do something like this, back, forth, back, forth. And then what that'll allow is, well, I was thinking that's a river. If you want to bring it on over, you could. Now that's a big change. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're like, ooh, that looks so much better, Miss K. All right, I'm just gonna see what I did over here. I'm going to press down hard. Okay. And then the shadow of this, you're not going to make it exact. Don't do the exact mirror thing. It's in the river, so it's going to have some lines. But it's going to take up about the same space. So after I do that, I look in the, like you can step back and look at it and be like, all right, I like what's happening, or no, I don't. I like that little line in between. It sort of shows that depth, like you could get underneath that. And then maybe make some line, left to right, left to right, left to right. It feels like it's getting eaten up. I would use a ruler. It's bigger here. All right, so I like that. I expanded. Now the original line, I'm going to erase, right, and just make it, use your eraser as a drawing, just going back and forth. Maybe it's reflecting off the sky. All right. Oh, I like that so much better. All right, so again, dark, medium, light, check, really light, check, white. I see this line still here. You want to try to get rid of that line that you made and make sure it still stays that triangle shape. And maybe it's just with Mr. Dirty Finger that you're creating that line. And if you can create some contrast, which means try to make it a little darker, I think it looks better. But you tell me. All right. All right, so I think that'll be good for 33B. So go ahead once you make those changes and just make them crispier, the lights lighter. Your fingers are going to get a little dirty again. And just resubmit. And remember, these lines are horizontal. Horizontal means they line up with the bottom of this. All right? They're not going to look like this. That's going to be the way that it makes it look super cool. And then last, take your eraser, minus lines all the way up in there. All right? Thank you so much for listening. I shall see you later. I look forward to seeing your landscapes. Love you guys. Please submit in the jot forms. Please submit into lesson 33B. All right. Have a good one.